Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. So we have more news to dive into. It's never a boring day at the office of Chelsea Football Club, that's for sure. We're going to get right into it as we've got two stories and one little piece of news to give you, you guys today. Before we do, let's get on with the formalities. Firstly, don't forget to check out the socials. Links are in the description. Instagram and Twitter are there, so make sure you're following on those. And second channel is relaunched. First video was uploaded yesterday, so make sure you do check that out. I will leave a link for you guys right here. Make sure you have a look. And tomorrow, you'll be getting a brand new video on there once again. So make sure you guys are subbed and enjoy the content that's coming on Younes Talks. Let's get cracking. So starting off with... We have to talk about Thomas Tuchel's new club, Bayern Munich. I feel like they're going to, for some time, become Chelsea B to an extent in terms of content, at least on this channel, even some of the other guys, because I think they're going to be linked with us for, I'd say, maybe the next couple of weeks at least. And then going into the transfer window, they'll be back. They'll be back. And why? You're probably asking. Well, it starts today. There are players that I'm going to talk about today that have been linked, and without further ado, let's get right into it. Starting off with what Tom Roddy at the Times has come out with. This. Bayern Munich are considering taking advantage of Mason Mount's contract stalemate at Chelsea and the club's financial problems by making a move for the England international this summer. Thomas Tuchel, the newly appointed Bayern head coach, is a strong admirer of Mount. Liverpool have also expressed a strong interest in signing Mount as part of Jurgen Klopp's reboot at Anfield, but they are among a group of clubs in the Premier League and across Europe watching the situation closely. Now, I have to be completely honest. Before we get into a continuation of what Tom Roddy has said, I have to stop it there. Financial problems? Chelsea don't have financial problems. Let's just get that out there. Yes, we made losses for a second year in a row. We have to avoid making a loss of that margin in a third year consecutively. Yes, we know that. But players are going to be sold. Players are still going to get bought. You know, we could theoretically still come to a contract agreement with Mason Mount and he stays. That doesn't mean that, oh, we absolutely have to sell him because we absolutely need the money that Mason Mount's going to generate. No, we'll happily make the money elsewhere. Trust me. Players will be leaving Chelsea Football Club. Let's have that right. You know, it's just right now the gap in terms of what Chelsea are offering and what Mason wants is so huge. So it's looking like Mason's going to be out the door. Financial problems, nah, there's nothing to take advantage of. The only thing to take advantage of is that Chelsea are not budging to give Mason Mount exactly what he wants, and Mason Mount isn't moving to just accept what Chelsea want to offer. So it is what it is. Let's keep continuing what Tom Roddy has said. He goes on to say this. There is a widespread expectation that Mount will leave Chelsea. Paul Winstanley took over negotiations, but a deal has not been struck. The club would want at least £50 million. And you know what? I would say at least 50 million is a good deal. I would try and get 60 for him. I think that is achievable. I think a player of his standard, I think in terms of, yes, he's got a year on his contract, but his age, his experience, what he's won, all of that factors. And when you look at a Liverpool, Bayern Munich coming in, Mason Mount, realistically, who is meant to be, right? I mean, for me, I think we'll be all right if he were to go. But he is seen as one of the names at Chelsea Football Club. And if anyone's going to come in for him, I think it's only right that you try and get 60 million for Mason Mount. Considering that Everton were ready and prepared to bid £40 million for Gallagher, I'd like to think Mason 60 is probably fair. So that is the latest in terms of Mason Mount and Bayern Munich. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as I've said personally, do I mind if he stays? No. Do I mind if he goes? No. Do I think that it would benefit him if he did stay? I think so. In the long run, I think with better quality around him, I think it would help elevate his game. But do I think that we will suffer if we sold Mason Mount? No, I think we'll be absolutely fine. Considering where he is in his career in terms of level, I think the expectation of what people have in their heads of Mason Mount isn't what he's achieved so far. Will he achieve what people have in their heads of what he can do? I have my doubts. I'm starting to see it as maybe he's hit a ceiling. Maybe he's stagnated. Maybe we don't actually get better than this. And considering, yes, he's had a bad season, but I mean, the good that we've seen him do before, I don't think it gets better. I think that's what Mason has to offer. So as I've said, if that means we've got the best out of him, if that means that, you know, he were to go, I think we'll be absolutely fine. I think we'll be okay. But ultimately, for him, who knows? He might go to another club, find himself more comfortable, find himself in a position that he's happy with, and find himself, you know, enjoying his football, and then he starts to elevate. It's possible. But circumstances are circumstances, and right now, I genuinely think with his contract negotiation, I just don't see it going anywhere. So there's that. Now, I've got a bit of good news to share with you before we get into the second story, which is related. We're going to mention Bayern Munich again, as I've already mentioned. This is probably going to turn into a Bayern Munich channel soon. I don't mean that intentionally. No, I'm not going to, you know, talk about Thomas Tuchel non-stop. I mean, we are going to be linked a lot with Bayern Munich because they want a lot of our stuff. So anyway, here's the latest in terms of training. Reece James and Wesley Fofana are back in full training, and that's a good sign, especially for Reece James, because he withdrew from England duty. We know the whole hamstring issue. We know that it keeps recurring. There's a genuine doubt as to whether he's going to be 100% fit, especially going into the Real Madrid games. We'll have to wait and see. But he's in full training, which is good to hear. So that's a nice piece of news to give you guys that we can all smile about. Now, we're going to get to what I want to call it. I want to call the main topic of this video, which is Anthony Barry, right? Anthony Barry. A lot of people were actually, I want to say offended. That Thomas Tuchel mentioned Anthony Barry in the press conference at Bayern Munich. His first press conference, he mentioned about his staff. Lowe, for example, and the other guy, I forgot his name. But how with immediate effect, they were ready and they joined Bayern Munich and they were raring to go. And then he mentioned that they want Anthony Barry, but he's at Chelsea at the moment. And I want to pinpoint, because a lot of people were offended, right? A lot of people were offended. And a lot of people were saying, oh no, how dare Thomas Tuchel mention Anthony Barry in a press conference? And then when people started to say, I don't really see the big deal, right? They were getting accused of not being Chelsea supporters. So I want to put this straight, right? Because personally, do I see any big deal? No, I don't expect loyalty from Thomas Tuchel. I don't expect Thomas Tuchel to look at Chelsea and think, I'm going to absolutely give them 150% respect. Albeit, yes, some people might, some people won't, but it is what it is. We sacked him, right? Albeit the sacking itself might have been done professionally, but relationships broke down hard between him and Todd Boehly, right? And there's still things we genuinely don't know about that sacking. So we have to remember that. I believe it did not end well at all. That's my personal opinion. So I don't expect Thomas Tuchel to come out and just give prime respect to Chelsea, okay? That doesn't mean what he's done is right, but what people are expecting him to not do, which is not mention someone that belongs to another club. That's where people see it as disrespect. That's not a very common thing in Germany. Let me just say that now. The Germans will speak, you know, straight to your face. They'll tell you exactly what they want to, what they want to say. What you don't want to hear, they'll happily say it. This whole thing about don't mention someone of another club, it's mainly here in England. It's mainly in England, the English League, what we're familiar with, the Premier League. It's mainly in England where Chelsea are probably going to be looking at this and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe he's mentioned that. Any other English club would be looking at it and going, oh my God, I can't believe he's mentioned one of our employees. In Germany, they don't care. They'll talk about other clubs, not a problem. It's normal for them. It's just the way it is. So Thomas Tuchel at Bayern Munich mentioned Anthony Barry. I genuinely don't really think there's anything wrong with what he said. When you look at, he mentioned Anthony Barry, he's working at Chelsea at the moment. That's it. I don't see the disrespect. Personally, I don't see the disrespect. But people made a big deal out of it. Well, now it seems like Anthony Barry has his head turned. And he has his head turned, and not just his head turned, but he genuinely wants to leave. And I think Thomas Tuchel knew that, hence why he probably mentioned it. Because Anthony Barry worked really well with Thomas Tuchel, and now he's been given the choice, stay at Chelsea or go to Bayern Munich under Thomas Tuchel. Matt Law gives us the latest, which is this. Chelsea coach Anthony Barry to stay away from Cobham and Stamford Bridge while Bayern Munich haggle over his release. Bayern Munich have now made a compensation offer to take Anthony Barry, but it's well short of Chelsea's valuation. So, there we are. Bayern Munich have made contact with Chelsea. Anthony Barry does want to go, and I think that's why Thomas Tuchel mentioned it. It's really not that big of a deal. Personally, I don't really see that big of a deal. So he mentioned Anthony Barry. Anthony Barry wants to go. Okay, see you later. That's it. That's it. But people making a big fuss of, oh my God, I can't believe he mentioned Anthony Barry. That's disrespect. How dare you? Don't expect loyalty, of that stature. Don't expect loyalty of that standard. It's just this. It's unrealistic, especially when you consider the circumstances. If it ended beautifully, right? If it ended in a situation where he came to the end of his contract, he wanted to leave and get a new challenge. Chelsea were, trying to keep him, but he wanted to go, and they ended things really beautifully. He ended his contract. They shook hands. Thank you very much for everything. We'll miss you. Take care and goodbye. All right, at that point, I genuinely think he'd look and go, you know what? No, I'm not going to mention it. Just because of such a good relationship. It didn't end well, and we sacked him not long ago. End of story. He wants Anthony Barry. He's about to get him. That's it. And hence why, as I've said, he's probably mentioned him because he knows that Anthony Barry is going to end up going anyway. If faced with the choice, which is a good thing. Why? Because do you really want someone at Chelsea that's not going to be 100% all in? See, this is where there's always a little bit of beauty in hindsight, right? There's always a little blessing in disguise. Anthony Barry is now wanting to go to Bayern Munich. Well, cool. Thank you very much for your work, mate. See you later. Because if he was genuine about the club, right, and his work at Chelsea, he would be like, nah, I'm not going anywhere. But no, albeit it's his choice, it's his career, and he's entitled to that, and he can do what he wants. For his own career, this is the same with Mason Mount. Your career, you choose the path you want to go down, I respect it. Anthony Barry made it clear now to Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel's made him an offer. He wants to go, put in a request. All right, no problem. We won't hold you back. I respect it. Thank you very much and goodbye. We will not try to persuade you to stay. You want to go, go. Bye. There's other people that will come in and take your position. But at the same time, he wants to go, see you later. However, it would have been different if we had someone there that went, nah, I don't want to go. I'm committed. I want to stay here. I like what we're doing. I love what we're doing. I need to stay. An opportunity presented itself. He wants out. See you later. So here's where I bring it back to the people that were saying, oh no, how dare Thomas Tuchel? How dare Thomas Tuchel? If Thomas Tuchel had not done that, we'd still keep Anthony Barry. Not to say he wouldn't do a good job. Some people are already not satisfied with him. But now we know he's not 100% all in to Chelsea. Now, there could be many reasons, right? As I've said, he's already worked under Thomas Tuchel before. They've already got a relationship. If he's had to choose between Thomas Tuchel and Graham Potter, Bayern Munich and Chelsea, maybe he sees more stability over at Bayern Munich. Absolutely. And this is why I say I respect his decision to go. But I would prefer someone at Chelsea that went, I'm committed here. I don't want to go. So, Anthony Barry, see you later. And let's get another assistant in. Let me know who you think we should get. I've already seen some calls for John Terry to come in. And I have to say, I would put that as a possibility, considering that he's working with the academy right now. He was an assistant at Aston Villa. I think it'd be a good step in the right direction if he were to take the assistant role for his development and maybe for some presence in the dressing room as well. I think that would possibly help. So John Terry to replace Anthony Barry. And maybe, if it comes to set pieces, maybe John Terry can show everyone how to flip and head the ball away. Or if we're trying to score, he can show everyone how to get stuck in and put the ball in the net with his head. Maybe John Terry will be the answer. Now, lastly, relating to Anthony Barry, Bayern Munich, we're not done. This is why I'm saying we're going to be linked with Bayern Munich for some time. Here's the latest, again, from Matt Law. Anthony Barry may not be the only Chelsea employee subject to interest from Thomas Tuchel over the coming months. Midfielder Mateo Kovacic will only have 1 year remaining on his contract in the summer, which has already alerted Manchester City. Bayern Munich could also enter the race to sign Kovacic. Man City seem to want a lot of our guys. They want Chilwell, they want Kovacic now. Do you want our club? Like, do you want the stadium? I don't know. Kovacic, though, to Bayern Munich, I see this happening. If I'm being completely honest, I do see something like this happening. My own opinion, I think Chelsea will be moving to get Kone. I think there's an opportunity for us to get Lavia from Southampton in the summer. Those are prime possibilities, and if it means that Kovacic is going to go because we've offered N'Golo Kante a new contract, Jorginho's already left, we're trying to shake up the midfield, or we could end up getting a defensive midfielder, albeit Lavia, or albeit someone else to come in and reinforce. I think we will have options if we were to go into the market, which I think we'll do, which means that there's opportunity for Kovacic to leave if he wants to go. Bayern Munich come in, Thomas Tuchel did like Kovacic, and I think, to be honest, Kovacic and the way that he plays could work very, very well. With a little less intensity and a little less level, if we're talking about Bundesliga and Premier League, Kovacic at this stage in his career at Bayern Munich, I think would work very, very well. Very well. And we know Kante signing a new deal, so Kante's going to stick around. So Kovacic to go, we bring in, let's say, Kone, we bring in Lavia. Let me know down below. Do you think that's a good way to go? Or would you keep Kovacic? Because I'll be honest with you, personally, I'm not against keeping Kovacic. I mean, yes, he's got some flaws, but overall, when he's on his A game and he brings some sort of consistency, which he does tend to do at least a little bit more than time to time, considering when you compare him to other players, he does do, I'd say, genuinely well. So Kovacic, I wouldn't mind if he were to stay, but if we're looking to reinforce and completely reshift the midfield, if we were to go in for what we're linked with, Kone, Lavia and all of those guys, we let go of Kovacic. I think it is a step in the right direction, ultimately. But let me know down below how you see it. And if he does go to Bayern Munich, do you think he'll do well there? And do you want Kone of Mönchengladbach? Do you want Lavia of Southampton? Do you have anyone else in mind? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear it. So thank you very, very much for watching. That's the latest for today. I'll be back tomorrow for a brand new one, so make sure you guys are here for that. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash like button if you've enjoyed this. Don't forget to check out Younes Talks. Sub to there and watch out for a new video dropping tomorrow. Keep your eyes peeled and I will see all of you then. Have a good one, people. See you lot tomorrow. Take care and peace.